Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to another episode of What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcasts. Every fortnight we get together, we talk about movies, TV, online content, and just ponder the question, how great was it when cheating in sport was only in the movies? Joining me this week, Dylan Blight.
That was a good one. And it was a sports reference, and I got it. Good job.
Great. Also joining me, Nicholas Pryor.
That's me.
And debuting in another sports reference, I guess, Ciaran Marchett.
What? Where am I? Okay, you're in a tavern, and you're surrounded by dwarves and elves and small halflings. One walks up to you and offers you a drink. What do?
It's roofied.
You don't get to say that.
I want to roll a perception check.
You can roll a perception check. This is the right podcast, right?
No, it's not. Sorry, Ciaran.
Oh. Why am I
this is
here?
to talk about movies and TV.
Right. Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I got it.
So we're going to talk about some movies. We're going to talk about some TV. Maybe talk about something I've been questioning after last episode. And we're going to be talking about the movie that we ended up watching this week, which was Speed Racer. Because I won the predictions. I got to pick.
Have you
Speed
ever,
Racer.
have you so far in the time since that was picked, accidentally nearly wrote or thought Ridge Racer?
No.
Because I went to type it into IMDb the other day just to look some stuff up, and I typed in Ridge Racer.
Didn't they make a Ridge Racer movie, though? Wasn't there a movie called Ridge Racer at some point? I can remember that.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
Wouldn't surprise me.
probably would have preferred it.
Ooh.
Oh.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I guess we'll get to that. Ciaran, seeing as you're the guest, let's talk about what you have been watching.
What have I been watching? Other between everything else, I've been up to. I've managed to find time this week to watch Bill Hader's new TV series called Barry. I don't know if you three watched that.
No.
Barry.
It's fantastic, and it's such a interesting role for. I really enjoy Bill Hader's stuff. I really enjoy his comedy roles, and this role it's still comedy, but it's a bit different. So if you haven't seen the previews or anything, Bill Hader plays a hitman or a bounty hunter named Barry, and it's all about how he gets a hit and one day somehow takes an acting class, and the teacher of the acting class is Henry Winkle, and it kind of goes forward, and it's only... So I was surprised when it was only a 30-minute episode, but it was really interesting. It's still got that Bill Hader kind of quirkiness to it, that
It's only
oddness.
8 episodes.
Pardon?
It's only 8 episodes.
Well, it's a
also.
HBO show.
It's
so.
a HBO show.
Half an hour, 8 episode series, though, is odd.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, eight is pretty short.
8 is, and I think it's just kind of, it is something a bit different. The style of it, there's a lot of, other than really Bill Hader, Henry Winkle, and I think it's Glenn Fisher might be the other person who's probably big, is that it's interesting to see Bill take on this different kind of role that isn't completely a comedy role. If you're used to seeing him previously in SNL and his other features in TV shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and stuff like that, it's pretty good. I really enjoyed the first episode. The pacing's really good for the episode. If you haven't watched it, I'd go and have a look at it. Go check it out.
Awesome. It's currently on Showcase on Foxtel, and I assume probably on iTunes.
I just used my phone to tell my Foxtel box to record it.
Yep. Good job. Good on you, Dylan.
Speaking of Dylan, I believe you finished watching Jessica Jones. How did it live up to the first season?
I enjoyed it. I don't think it's as great as the first season. However, I would say that it's still a lot higher quality than the other series. It's better than Daredevil Series 2. It's better than Luke Cage. It's better than... What the fuck? Oh, it's way better than Iron Fist, and it's way better than The Defenders. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. The thing it does well that all the other series failed at was it doesn't reach the halfway point and suddenly just switch villain.
Who is the
If
villain?
you've watched... I think it's a spoiler to say it's someone else who's super powered, but it's a spoiler to say who it exactly it is. They reveal who it is maybe around episode, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5.
Were you happy with the
And
choice
then-
of the villain?
Yeah, because it's someone who she can have a close dynamic relationship with, and someone who although she wants to stop, also wants to help, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like a straight up I need to kill this person or put this person away, etc., etc. It's a duality to the back and forth of the villain throughout the season. And
It's
it has a
J.
good
Jonah
payoff.
Jameson.
No, it's really not. It has a good payoff. Some of the sub stories this season were kind of crappy. With Patsy had a
Is
kind
she
of
like the
meh
most
side story.
annoying character? Because
I liked her in first season. It's fine. She was kind of crappy this season. I can't remember his name. The guy who works with her, who was like a druggie in the first season, he has some cool parts this season, which were great. And Ritter's just great. She's like born to play that character. Just drunk all the time, angry, pissed off.
Does
that's
the
great.
show miss David Tennant at all?
David Tennant shows up for an episode. It's not a spoiler because they revealed that in the trailer, but he shows up for an episode. I can't tell you how.
Right.
Flashback.
that's fair. It'll be flashback, right?
Well, I'm not going to tell you how because I don't think they do in the trailer. But it's literally on the poster that he's in it, and they revealed he was going to be in it in the trailer.
Yep.
When he comes back, yes, it's like it's kind of annoying that they killed him in the first season because David Tennant, Kilgrave is my favorite Marvel villain. Movies, TV, everything. He is the best Marvel villain as far as I'm concerned. So I could have done with another season of him. Because he's so good, and
Even
David
just like
Tennant
a
was
season
so
with
good.
him in prison or in jail or something, and like her.
No.
I don't know.
Well, the annoying thing is the end of season 1 when she kills him is what he deserved and made sense for the storyline, but it's still annoying that you just don't get more of it.
Was it? I always found that his death a little disappointing in season 1 because it was such a. I guess it mirrors what that character is, but it was such a minute and sudden and very quick death. In many ways, where she just kind of walked up and broke his neck, that there was no build up to it. It was nothing, which is the clear thing when he wasn't a physical villain or anything like that. He was more that psychological or mental being.
Yeah. I don't know what else. I don't know. I liked it. I didn't mind it. I don't know what else you'd have her do.
I don't know.
Cool. So is it going to be a season 3?
Yeah. They'll do it season 3.
Assuming
They'll continue doing seasons until they run out of
Marvel's
ideas.
not taking him off Netflix, are they? That wasn't...
Are you going to ask about something else I've been watching? Or else I'll just bring it up myself.
I hadn't seen
I'm just
anything
going to
else.
check. I want to talk about it.
Okay. You wanting to talk about Wild Wild Country?
Correct.
Yes.
Wild Wild Country.
Thank you, Trakt TV.
What a show. Thank you, Trakt. Yeah.
TV.
Yeah, we're all
Kieran,
on track
what's
now.
your
It's how
account?
it's how he can-
I
yeah,
don't-
Ciaran doesn't have a
I don't
count,
know.
piece of shit.
Well, before next episode, you need to bank one.
All right.
Got Ash on it. You can find Ash, myself, and Nick's Trakt accounts in the details below. You will not find Kieran's because it doesn't exist.
Nope.
Yeah.
Wild Wild Country was an amazing doco series, and I would highly suggest anyone who likes documentary series at all to watch it because it is batshit crazy. And I don't even want to say too much because I didn't know much about it. And the annoying thing about documentary series is, so I watched the trailer, you're like, cool, this looks fucking weird. Yeah, I want to watch this. And then when you start watching the first episode, my brain's just like trying so hard not to Google it. Like, it's very easy to spoil it for yourself. But I feel like since it's like the whole story's in front of me, I could Wikipedia this now to find out how it all resolves itself, but I won't. But the basic premise is crazy, like, religious dude in India. Well, crazy in the he's not crazy. He could be crazy. It's up for you to decide. All these people really love him. They go to India, and he starts building this heap of followers. One day, they're like, oh, we need to open up our own town, basically, to let our people thrive. So they buy up all this land in America, and they go to America, and they start building this huge town next to this small of a town, which only has 40 people in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. And what proceeds to happen afterwards is so crazy, you would not believe it's real. And other than that, I would just suggest watching it because it is nuts. It is absolutely, this is made up, but it's not because it's real nuts.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Where is it available, Dylan?
Netflix.
Netflix. It's a Netflix original
Netflix
series.
Original? Sure.
Yep.
Awesome.
Produced by the Duplass brothers,
I was just about to bring
who
that
I like
up.
to support because they're really great dudes and they make things I like, including one of my top 10 movies of last year.
Which was?
It's the one random indie horror movie on the list.
The Babysitter.
Nope.
Get Out.
Happy Death
Nope.
Day.
Nope. Yes. The Duplass brothers. Happy Death Day.
All right. So this way, well, since we've last had the episode, I went and saw Tomb Raider. It's okay. It's a fun time. Alicia Vikander pretty much carries that movie on her back.
I said that.
With her incredible back muscles. Like, she's ripped.
She is ripped, yep.
Yeah, Walter Goggins is kind of
Meh.
And then,
I'm the bad guy.
I wasn't expecting the character reveal in the middle of the movie, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Nathan Drake?
Yeah. Yes. Tom Holland appears in Tomb Raider.
What'd I give it? Like a 7?
Yeah.
What would you give it?
Probably a 6.
Yeah, it's not that good. I really enjoyed her as Lara a lot.
But the plot
And
is meh.
the plot's meh. The plot's there. I wouldn't say it's terrible.
I'll take 1 point off for the very last scene of the film.
Yeah.
Which is...
The action scene that involves a parachute, a river, and a plane.
Her getting
So
away
good.
from them is like the best part of the movie.
That was the
video
best
game,
action scene. Yeah, that was so... If you've played the Tomb Raider reboot, that scene is just like pure giddy goodness because it's so done so well. And she's so good in that scene.
Yeah.
So, for someone who has no intention of ever seeing this, what's so bad about that last scene?
Oh, it was just...
It's in that... Fuck it, I'm just going to spoil it because they show it in the trailer and it's in one of the trailers, but you don't know when it's going to happen in the movie. So fuck it. If you don't care for this weird Tomb Raider
Spoilers, people.
skip ahead like 30 seconds. So she doesn't use guns the whole movie. Great. Amazing. The most she uses is like a hook climbing thing or whatever, and she fights people hand to hand and a bow and arrow or whatever. Very, very close to the reboot. End of the game, she goes to the a pawn shop in which she sold stuff to get money to go on this adventure, and she decides to pick up fucking handguns for some reason. Goes in the back and she picks out her 2 like typical guns from the thing, and then she holds them up and she's like, I like these 2, and it like cuts the credit. It's just like the most forced fan servicey bullshit scene that didn't seem to fit her character from the rest of the movie at all.
No.
At all. It was trash.
It was cringy.
I wish it was after credits scene so then I could have never seen it.
Yeah.
Which you would have still seen it.
I wouldn't have stayed, honestly.
You wouldn't have
I
stayed?
wouldn't have thought to. No, I would have walked out.
If they'd gone closer to how they did it in the first Tomb Raider game where they came from her mentor or whatever.
No, well, in the game, I didn't like when she got him either. Spoilers for the end of the Tomb Raider game, the last boss battle where you finally get dual pistols is a bullshit fight. It's absolute garbage. So, in my review, I'm pretty sure I write, like, I don't like the end of the game. I don't like the end of the movie. Similarities. Whatever.
So I also checked out a Netflix movie, the recent released Game Over Man, which
Yes.
me and
We did a
Dylan reacted to, which you can find
trailer. I said it looked crap.
bit.ly/Explosion Network. Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Is
There
this
was a
the
couple
one
of
with the guys
twists.
from Workaholics?
For Workaholics, yeah.
Yep.
There was a lot more male nudity than I was expecting. I'll just say that first up.
I'll
we
watch
talking
it now.
like
I
dogs?
support dick movies.
Are we talking about dogs?
Yeah, well, then you'll definitely want to watch this one.
I'm down then. I'll watch it.
There was a scene that I can't unsee, and it's unsettling. So if that does it for you,
What if you like penis?
I mean, yeah.
Then you should watch American Gods.
That too.
That is true.
But yeah, it's kind of like a dumb guys Die Hard, pretty much, is the pitch.
Yeah, that's what it looked like Die Hard to me. Talking about dick, right? I looked on IMDb the other day for Blocked. You know, cock blockers or what? No, blockers.
Yeah, blockers.
Which I'm excited for.
Apparently, it's really
It
good.
had a really good like critic score so far. It's been getting really good reviews. The user review score on IMDb was really low, and I'm like, what the fuck? The movie's not even out yet for general public. So I like look through the user reviews, and like two of them or one of them or something gave it 1 out of 10 and said only has male nudity. What the fuck? 1 out of 10. I was like,
well,
okay, if that's John Cena's dick, I'm in.
I was going to say, I thought it was just be a whole bunch of wrestling marks. Just,
yeah,
fucking
you would have thought. But
John
yes,
Cena, man.
only male nudity in this one as well. So
I'm fine with this.
1
we
out
got
of 10.
we got years of teen comedy tits and female nudity. Go old men now, you know?
Yeah.
Bring it around.
How about we just share it out evenly?
Yeah.
Do you get to see Adam Levine's penis, or is it the other characters?
Yeah, I think they're stunt penises, though. I get the impression.
But it's made out like it is his.
Yeah. There is a scene.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hot
I mean-
diggity dog.
Check it out if you want. If you're
Mila
okay with
Kunis had
over the
a
top,
stunt ass woman. So
over the
it's
top
alright.
violence and penises.
Eh?
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, yeah,
Just looking at Ashley's face while you're talking about this is great.
it's just the scene is just replaying in my head, and I don't know how to feel. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the Good Doctor, which is about to come to the end of its first season. If you haven't seen it, it's about an autistic surgeon, like surgeon. I forget what the correct term is.
I feel like I've watched the entire series because every time I go home to my parents' house, they have Channel 7 on.
Yeah.
And Prime just plays ads about that TV show.
It is.
every
It's great.
single
It's
ad.
rating really well as well, which is surprising that anything rates
Oh,
well
it's
anymore.
got the
Is that the guy from
psycho
oh, no.
kid.
It's got
The
Freddie
guy
Highmore
from,
from
Bates
Bates
Motel.
Motel.
He's been
Yeah,
in like
that's
a
it.
heap of movies when he was a kid growing up.
Yeah.
He's one of those kids where he's on a fine line between being Macaulay Culkin or a kid that grew up normally, where his body just, I don't know. He looks weird.
He was Charlie Bucket.
He was.
He was.
All I think of him is from Bates Motel. That's all
He
I
was
think of
he
him
was in like James and the Giant Peach.
Holy fuck. Blowing my mind.
Crazy.
All right. Yeah, so Good Doctor's good.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoy it. I mean, it's run by the guy who did House, so it's sort of
Oh, I'm
similar.
not gonna like
where
it.
except the Doctor's not an asshole this time. He's sort of.
What's wrong
but
with
he's-
House?
I fucking hated House.
Why
Really?
did you hate House?
Oh, so boring, and the characters were shit.
But Hugh Laurie, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm grumpy and I fucking barge into rooms and I give 2-second answers to medical problems. Everyone loved me. I'm this great TV show. Fuck off. How about House Fuck Off MD, dickhead? Where's your British accent now, you prick?
Oi! Leave Hugh Laurie alone.
Yeah,
he
leave-
is in a set of actors along with like Rowan Atkinson that you can't. No, bad, Dylan.
I mean, what
I
else
believe
has he
Dylan
been
should
in
be
though
muted
recently?
for the next 2 minutes
Ciaran?
of the show.
He was in a movie once where a plane crashed.
The Night
Can't remember.
Manager.
He was in that,
That's
and I
true.
believe he died. It was pretty good. He complained a lot. I was like, I hope you fucking drown in sand, you
Chance.
bastard.
Yeah. So check out the Good Doctor. It's fun. Let's move on to some movie news.
Hold on, I watch stuff too.
Yeah, I was
Did
gonna
you?
say, Nick
I
just
didn't
got
see
loose.
anything on Trakt.tv.
Yeah, I saw 3 billboards outside of Ebbing,
Oh, yeah,
Missouri.
that's right. Sorry. You saw 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, which won 2 Oscars. Were they worthy?
Yes.
Nothing.
Do you want to elaborate? Would you
Nothing
love to?
happens
Would
in
you
that
love to elaborate, or even do it
Yes,
a little
I would
bit?
love to.
Yeah. Will you?
Okay, I will just for you, Ashley.
Thank you.
I really love this movie. Yeah. I think haven't not seen the Shape of Water. I think this could have won Best Picture for me. Like, it definitely was in my mind a character study as opposed to a movie about the plot itself, because the plot was just there to drive the characters into doing what they're doing. Like, I just really liked it.
I didn't like the characters, and I thought the plot went stupid.
I just thought the plot went nowhere for me. I liked the acting and I liked the characters. I just like what actually happened.
To me, that wasn't about the plot. It was about the characters.
Sam Rockwell's character, where that ends up, kind of ruined the movie for me.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Without any spoilers, no, I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy his whole thing at all. It turned me off. So, I mean, I thought Three Billboards was alright. Frances McDormand's great in it, but she's great in everything. So,
have you seen it, Ash?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Do you want me to hook you up with a copy of it, Ash?
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
You got a screener?
It was believable, and I bought it.
Yeah. What do you think of the backlash about? I think it's racist stuff was the problem that people had with the film.
There was racist stuff with the problem with the film.
Yeah, what was the film? I can't remember. There was a lot of some sort of backlash.
That's part of my problem with Sam Rockwell's character, is to do with the racist stuff.
There was racist stuff in the film, but I didn't think it was a bad thing. It was like a... Well, racism is bad, but... racism is bad, but it was... I'm just going to stop talking.
Yeah, I don't...
You didn't feel anything like that?
No, like, I didn't think it was... I think it fit his character, but I didn't think it was in any way promoting racism or anything like that.
It's not old enough for me to go into it on the podcast.
Yeah.
We are like the full
It's not even out in DVD yet, so...
Yeah.
Maybe another time.
All right. Now can I move on to film news? Everybody said their piece? Great.
And cues. Yep.
So, Netflix films have been banned from the Cannes Film Festival.
Fuck you, Spielberg.
Yeah,
This is Spielberg.
Spielberg has been a real dick lately. He also stopped Carl Jr.'s from naming their burgers Spielburgers.
I have to say, I think the Cannes Film Festival's in the right here because Netflix have been kind of screwing with flouting against their French laws, which require that films have a theatrical release and then a 36-month break before it becomes available on streaming services. So they had their two films out last year.
That's a ridiculous rule.
Yeah. You know the French...
6 months?
I mean, yeah, 36. You know the French, they love their movies. They're high class.
That's ridiculous. That is the most unprogressive rule.
Yeah, but then Netflix go in and they want to have a day and date. So, I mean, show a little bit of respect to other people's cultures. Yeah?
I don't even think that's I don't know. It just
That
blows
sounds
my mind that
ridiculous.
that's
Why
a
does
thing.
it matter? Why does it matter to their culture that they have to wait 36 hours for streaming services?
36 months.
Months. I don't know why I said... I would just be just as outraged if you said 36 hours.
It's for cinemas.
It's for theatrical releases, though, yeah.
It's for theatrical releases, and they still want to support the cinema culture, the people that run cinemas. There's the French have one of the highest cinema cultures in
the world.
Well, actually, Europe in general. Like, you can look at Paris and all that sort of stuff. They have like a very high class cinema culture over there, and there's gonna be so many mama grot pop rock run cinema boutique shops or even these like 100-year-old cinemas that still want to be supported and run really well. And in general, most cinema chains all over the globe are scared of streaming because
the thing is,
ruins people going to cinema.
Netflix original movies are never going to be in cinemas anyway, so it's not
Some
like
of
they're
them do
taking...
go. What's the fuck just went there, and then we got it. Annihilation.
Yeah, but that wasn't a Netflix original, though, was it?
Technically, no.
Netflix. Technically, no, but kinda. Depends how you want to look at it.
It's not like
There was-
Netflix
so-
started doing these movies and then took them out of the cinemas, though. It's just anything Netflix has done has always just been straight as part of their services.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not like they're
So
taking.
I don't
money
think
away.
it's harming cinemas at all. It's not like... The other thing I can think of is if they're buying films at Cairns and then putting them straight on their services as opposed to them going to cinematic releases. I don't understand how this harms anything than what they've been doing now anyway.
I think it's just a case of Khan not wanting to promote those films in the future if they're going straight to Netflix. And that's their choice.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
it's their choice.
Yeah.
I disagree with it, but it's fair enough. That's their point, and I don't understand why they want to.
This sort of maneuvers into another story I wanted to talk about. I think Spielberg came out this week and said he doesn't think Netflix original movies should be considered for the Oscars. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Why?
Because they're not in the cinema, so technically they're TV, so technically they should be eligible for Emmys.
They're not TV though. How are they TV?
What's the definition?
Yeah,
I don't have a definition in front of me, but
Host.
I mean, if it's not released in to be eligible for the Oscars, you have to have like a couple week run in Los Angeles at least
Yeah.
to be eligible.
I think it's yeah.
Yeah.
Like the facts and everything that he's going off for this all is legit and makes sense. However, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Netflix movies should be as eligible as anything else because the caliber of Netflix movies is high enough. What the rule was kind of put in to stop would be the olden days, 10 years ago, you're straight to DVD, shitty shovelware stuff.
Yeah.
Ever even being
They wouldn't have
thought of
made it
the
in
same
anyway.
category. No, but so he's using that rule that stuff would be included in to include Netflix stuff, which isn't fair because Netflix stuff, as anyone who knows who watches it, is of high enough caliber.
Is there any original
it's-
Netflix movie that you saw last year that would have been up for the Oscar, in your opinion?
Last year, fuck, you're pulling a fast one on. I mean, my brain. Netflix
Obviously,
original movie.
we're all thinking
Then what about that
Annihilation,
Oaktree
which should be
movie?
this year. Those of us who liked it. But I mean, there's a
If it's still
TV
time,
movie.
I'll Google for a list.
There's a TV movie category in the Emmys, so I mean, it fits.
But why should they be classed?
Beast of,
I wanna
Beast of
know-
No Nations was nominated a couple years ago. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I love that movie. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that was nominated for best something or other at somewhere. Maybe it was even the Golden Globes, but that was
I do believe Icarus, the winner of the documentary, the best documentary at this year's Oscars,
That was a
Netflix.
straight-
Yep.
It was. Yep.
I want to know, did Netflix turn down Spielberg at one point? Has Netflix
Doubt it.
scorned Spielberg for him to come out and do this?
I don't think it said just Netflix. I think he said Hulu and Amazon and future
Yeah,
Apple.
but streaming services in general, yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't being
Like,
personal.
it sounds personal. Is he just upset that a Netflix movie might get nominated this year and not Ready Player One?
I don't think there's any
It
concerns
sounds.
about
It
that.
sounds
It's-
very, very elitist almost of him to. I don't know.
Well,
It
isn't that showbiz though?
It is, but at the same time, if you think your movies are that much better than Netflix originals, then why would you care if they got put into the Oscars? If your movies are better, they're going to win.
You're talking about once again, he's completely wrong. But I did joke by saying "fuck you, Spielberg," but I get his thought process. He's part of a group of people who grew up with cinema being the highest thing. You know, growing up being like, I got to get my movie into cinema culture, cinema this, cinema that. You look at other people, like even look at Quentin Tarantino. You know, he also shits on stuff like Netflix because he's also someone else who's, you need to go to the cinema. It's all about the cinema culture. It's all about sitting in that seat, paying your ticket price, seeing it in the big screen. I just blah 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 blah. They look down on Netflix and they are all wrong. However, I can all see where their thought process comes from the way they were brought into the industry, the way their brains are tuned.
I wonder if any of these people have been to a modern cinema in a public session, because most cinema going experiences are pretty shitty, to be honest. Because I guarantee all of them have private cinemas in their homes.
Yeah, they all would, but they all would go to the premieres, which aren't in shitty ones. They're in
exactly,
they're
or
proper,
they go to
they're
film
proper cinemas,
festivals
but
and
they're
stuff like
they're
that.
high caliber ones. The film festival, the Cannes cinemas and stuff like that aren't actually, from photos and videos I've seen, aren't actually like that high fancy. They're just pretty boutique type.
No, but
cinemas,
the thing is
so.
that the moviegoers actually are there for the experience. They're not there to rustle around in their bags and open fucking talk to each other.
As someone who goes a lot, I have had for every 10th time I go, there's the shitty experience, and then there's a whole bunch of meh experiences. But then there's sometimes I'll be in the cinema with the perfect crowd, and it's really, really great to be watching a movie with the certain people in the cinema at the right time. And then there's other times where I've watched movies in a completely empty cinema, and I've kind of loved that as well, just being the only person there in the front of this giant screen,
It's great.
and just having this entire room to yourself. So there is ups, downs. Like, it's great to have that alone experience. It's great to have that screening where you're loving the fact that the people around you are really into it and they're really appreciating it. And then you do get the shitty crowd where they're, the teen fucking couple behind you is pissing you off or talking or whatever the hell else. That's the risk you take. There's ups, down, but also the bad things happening at the cinema. That's kind of cinema culture. That's part of.
It's cinema
That's kind
culture,
of part of it.
But it's why I love going to the first or second screenings of Avengers movies or Star Wars movies or that kind of those movies that bring out a large fan base where the whole cinema is going to be full of the fan base. There's going to be that odd cheering, the clapping, the laughter that happens across the whole thing. But when you go into a random movie, you're not going to have that. If I can guarantee, Dylan, if you went to a random movie and started cheering at some point, you'd get some very weird.
I've never cheered in a cinema.
Really, I have a couple of times.
No.
Because, sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the movie experiences you're describing are pop culture cinema experiences, which doesn't have to be what I'm talking about. I mean,
No.
I could go watch some random art house movie, and it's knowing that everyone could just shut up, be quiet in a completely packed cinema, and no one says shit, and then people don't say anything. It's when you're walking out the door and just overhearing people talking about the movie on the way out. Like, you're hearing the people appreciating, like, but just hear. I like that. I like eavesdropping on people's conversations, walking out, just like hearing what they want to say. If I go watch a movie like, say, Mother, apart from two people that walked out behind me, which is also great, like, that's fantastic experience that I wouldn't have got if I watched that movie at home. But then as soon as I was walking out, I waited till the other people stood up first, because I wanted to hear what they had to say, because I needed to know what everyone else around me was thinking after watching that movie, because it's that type of movie. And if I was sat at home and watched it, it would have been like, okay, I guess I'll open up my phone and go to forums. But that's not the same as eavesdropping on people's conversations on the way out. That's its
Sounds
own
kinda
type
creepy.
of thing.
But at the same
it is a little
time,
creepy.
I live in Sheffield.
That's part of it.
We don't have that caliber.
They're talking out
moviegoer.
loud.
And also, the Shepparton chairs, not good for my thunder thighs. Not good at all.
I do have an answer for your question also, Ash.
Yep.
I would have Oscar nominated or been close. I was quite a fan of Okja.
Okja.
Okja, however you say it.
Which
Do you
was
remember- do you
booed at
remember-
Cannes to bring it sort of full circle.
Yep. So there you go. I went looking for the list. I was quite a fan of that movie.
It could have been, and Spielberg just leveraged the Academy to put the post in instead.
Yep.
Moving on. Next news story I want to talk about. The Deadpool animated series that was going to be airing on FX has been cancelled, I guess, citing creative differences.
Fuck, it was funny.
And then Donald Glover decided he was going to post a 14-page script on Twitter. I think it's been sort of devised
It's
that
been deleted.
It was written after the cancellation of the
Yeah.
show. So there were references that were from this week and sort of referencing cancellation. Are you guys disappointed? How do you feel about everything?
I didn't know it existed.
Is that even
I'm
sadder?
I'm the same with Ciaran. I had no idea
I didn't
about
know
it
it
and didn't
existed
say
or
anything
it
about it
was-
until after it was cancelled.
Yeah.
As a Donald Glover fan, yes, I am disappointed.
Yeah.
But I did get that 14-page script and his smart-ass tweets,
Yeah.
and it was quite amusing anyway.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. It could still happen, but I think Donald Glover's tied up with a deal with FX, so I'm not sure if he could take it somewhere else. I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, they're going to give it to someone else. It'll end up happening, but it won't be with him. That's why in the script he was making jokes about it being racist.
Oh man,
Some white guy's going to get it.
what a shame! What a shame. Another big story from the last couple of weeks. Ava DuVernay is going to be directing New Gods movie, which is surprising that they're going to do a New Gods movie. Jillian, you're a DC
Very.
fan. How do you feel about New Gods? How do you feel about Ava DuVernay?
The fact that DC just is... Well, okay. So, remember when Guardians of the Galaxy came out and everyone was like, oh, it's really good that Marvel's digging into like their more weird kind of outreach sci-fi kind of craziness. This is really good instead of just sticking to the characters that normal, non-comic book fans know. If they do a New Gods movie right, it'll be batshit crazy.
Yeah.
It'll be really weird. However, it could have the same kind of X factor to it, I believe. And I like that they've got her directing it. I haven't watched A Wrinkle in Time yet. I'm excited for A Wrinkle in Time. We said that on the first episode.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of the reviews. I'm still excited for it. I like her as a person in general. And I think she has the caliber to make this an interesting movie. And I think this could bode really well for DC if it's done right. So I have high hopes.
I don't know what to think. I mean, New Gods is pretty niche, I think.
Yep.
How much stuff does DC have announced currently? Like, how many?
Shazam.
How long's a piece of rope,
Aquaman,
Ciaran?
Cyborg, Batman, Joker, Justice League 2, Man of Steel 2. That's off the
Suicide
top of my
Squad
head.
2.
New Gods now.
Gotham City
the point
Sirens.
that annoyed me with
Yeah.
DC announcing
Suicide
stuff
Squad,
was
yeah.
when they announced The Rock as Black Adam,
Yeah.
almost 2 years ago.
Well, that's
And-
Shazam's shooting at the moment.
He's not
but
in
The
it.
Rock isn't in Shazam.
No, he's not in it, but I mean, like, on that, Shazam is shooting.
Shazam
and
is
Zachary
shooting,
Levi looks.
'cause I've seen the
Zachary
pictures.
Levi looks really cool
Yeah,
does.
it
in the
does look
suit
good.
and everything. He looks fucking boss. I love everything I've seen. I love how the director, I can't remember the director's name, he tweeted one day, like, I'm so surprised no photos have leaked from our set. Like, Zachary Levi is literally walking around in the suit and everything. They're in public. And he tweeted, like, it's so funny, the photos haven't leaked. Next day, photos leaked, and he, like, retweeted them, just, like, quote retweeted them, like, lol. So I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Didn't somebody make a joke? I saw somebody make a joke about, or it might have even been on Zachary Levi's account itself about CGI top lips and stuff. And I laughed.
Oh, it's because he's got a mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys see the Henry Cavill video?
Yeah,
He
fuck, that was funny. He's so good. It's so funny. I like how he had the humor with it.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate
appreciate that,
You know?
yeah.
If everyone's going to laugh at you and you can admit it's ridiculous, just poke fun at yourself.
Get better at growing mustaches. I can't.
Well,
I can't.
Yeah,
man.
so you can shave it off and then you can grow it back really fast.
Yeah. Isn't that the method? Isn't that how you do
Yeah.
it?
So we also heard some news about the other Captain Marvel movie with Brie Larson, the Marvel one. Apparently, we're getting back Agent Phil Coulson.
Phil Coulson signed up for it. There was somebody else I was hoping.
Samuel L.
signed
Jackson
up
is
for
going to
it.
be back. We haven't seen him in a while. And they're
I
also
think I
bringing
read
back
somewhere that
Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser and Jimon Honsu as Korath the Pursuer. Because it's
What?
set before the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's set during the 90s.
Yeah, but it's gonna have that. What? I'm so confused.
Yeah. So they're back.
Like, my thing is,
From outer
I know
space.
even less about Captain Marvel than I knew about Doctor Strange and Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Okay, so Captain Marvel is it's set during the 90s. She's an Air Force pilot. It'll start on Earth, and then at some point she's going to shoot off into the stars, and she's going to be all up there with the Guardians type whatever stuff when she can meet Ronan and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Scrolls and shit's probably going to be happening. And then, because it's set in the 90s, I presume she's going to stay up there until Avengers, and they won't have her come back down until Avengers 2 or something.
So it's kind of
that's
like
the
Green
going
Lantern
theory.
without the ring. Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
she'll meet Nick Fury and all this sort of stuff. She'll get a few superpowers, and then she'll shoot off into the stars, and then she's going to be up in space for 20 years or whatever it is, and then come back down for Avengers 2. And that's how when they want to do the sequel to this, they don't need to set it on Earth, because one of Marvel's going things at the moment is get the fuck away from Earth as much as possible, which is actually good because there's only so much. Another villain's trying to destroy the planet Earth. Oh, fuck me, Dad. Just fuck off. I'm excited for this because I like Brie Larson.
Yeah.
That's about it. I like Captain Marvel, sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Excited for this. Staying on the Marvel train, both X-Men Dark Phoenix and X-Men New Mutants have been delayed 6 months. Both
So
are going
New
back
Mutants
into
got delayed
reshoots.
again, right?
Yes.
So
So,
that's the second time that's been
it's
delayed.
getting pushed back to August next year, and Dark Phoenix is taking its spot in February next year.
So is Dark Phoenix, have they finished shooting that movie?
They finished shooting. They're going back for reshoots.
Of course they are.
Word is, it's not great. And it's going to be difficult because they've got a huge big name cast, so getting everybody back is not going to be simple.
I was
Disney's got Scrooge McDuck money.
Yeah.
I was confused when I only heard about this movie a week ago. Like I only
What?
heard that Dark Phoenix was. I only heard that Dark Phoenix was supposed to be out this year about a week ago.
Clearly, you didn't listen to episode 1 of What Do You Want to Watch?
Oh, didn't I? Maybe I skipped that bit. I was listening at 2 times speed.
Okay, must have just missed. Just didn't quite catch the name of the.
Didn't catch that bit. I was not processing properly.
I think the New Mutants reshoots is interesting because apparently the test screenings they had were very positive, but they want them to go back and shoot it and make it scarier and add another character. Is the notes they've got?
I think how it goes is they're taking the opportunity to do reshoots.
Yeah.
Because it didn't get pushed through reshoots. They pushed it because it's like Deadpool's out,
Yeah.
and then they wanted X-Men Apocalypse pushed up. So then they wanted Apocalypse suited in where it was originally going to come out.
Dark Phoenix.
And then it kept getting pushed back because they just keep putting what they consider the better movies in front of it.
Yeah.
So I think when they pushed it so far back, I think Fox, to make the who's directed it, Josh Boone or whatever his name is. I think to make him feel better, they're like, "Hey, we just pushed your movie back like a fucking year because we put Deadpool there and we put X-Men, the real X-Men there. Have some money for some reshoots if you want." And he was like, "Okay, cool, I'll go shoot some scenes to make the movie scarier." But all I've heard is good stuff about it,
The trailer
and it's the only
looked
X-Men
awesome.
movie I
Yeah,
care
the
about.
trailer was
I was
great.
hyped about it when I saw the trailer. It was good.
Yeah. So we're going to be waiting another 18 months before we see it.
Yeah, annoyingly. And I give zero fucks about Dark Phoenix because X-Men Apocalypse was an utter garbage piece of shit film that I wasted my entire life watching.
Not as
So
bad
at
as
what
it
point
comes
does
Worst
Disney
X-Men
just
movie
can
ever.
all of that and just make their own?
Worst X-Men.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
might-
Maybe they're reshooting so they can
Ever.
fit it into the Marvel universe.
They'd be able to
That's-
use
I've read
Dark
rumours
Phoenix
about
as
that.
they'd be able to use Dark Phoenix as a moment to do that.
Yeah. She could break the
Do an
universe.
X-Men 3 thing?
They've already broken the
it's just gonna
timeline.
be like, I think it's just going to be a fresh reboot again. Well, they've never really done a fresh one, honestly.
If Disney got the rights to X-Men tomorrow, you would not see the X-Men come in until like
Well,
phase
technically they do.
6. Well, like, it's not... It's really confusing. And
Isn't the
I'm
Fox
not...
deal done, though?
I think it's
No.
still they're still
Yeah.
got to pass it in the law. Passing the
Uh-huh.
law. I think they're just checking to make sure
Whatever it is, yeah.
it's legal.
And that could take years, like, on it. Like, you don't want it to, and it probably won't.
but
But the fact
lawyers.
is, it could take years. Yeah. But say if they get X-Men tomorrow, X-Men aren't introduced to the Marvel universe for years. Would be my
No,
thing.
it wouldn't be like Spider-Man.
They wouldn't come
where
in
it's-
for years.
I'd be
Just slot
happy
in.
with that, though. If that's the case,
Yeah.
I'd be pretty happy.
If
with
anything, it'd be something to keep in their back pocket for when they're running dry on stuff to introduce, and when all of the actors are like, "I'm done. Yeah, I don't want any more." Then they go, "Oh, now we got all new X-Men."
How do you feel about Chris Evans quitting after Avengers 4.
If it just for a whole nother phase of Marvel.
No, Avengers 4 is next year, isn't it? I believe
Oh,
they're shooting back to back.
There's
I
another set of
considered
movies-
Avengers 3 Part 1 and Part 2 as 3 as a whole. In my mind, Avengers 4 was a whole nother phase away.
Are you talking about
Yeah, it's out
Infinity
next
War
year.
Part 2?
I just double checked.
Infinity War Part 2,
2019.
which isn't called Infinity War Part 2.
Yeah, but they didn't call it that anymore. They changed it. It used to be called Infinity War Part 2.
But now
Okay,
it's
so
not
that's what's
called
considered
Infinity War
Avengers
Part
4.
2.
Yeah, so now it's just called Untitled Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So wait, so does that mean there's a chance that this all gets wrapped up in this one Avengers movie?
No.
No. They
Because then either Bucky
possible,
or
not
Falcon will
likely.
become Captain America.
No, that's cool, and I'm happy with Bucky or Falcon. Bucky's becoming White Fang for a little while, so either of those becoming Captain America's fine with me. I think it's pretty cool.
Cool.
As long as it's cool with Ciaran.
Yeah, Ciaran is the
It's
arbiter
cool
of
with
cool.
me. I'll give you the go-ahead, Marvel.
Couple of quick ones. They're making... The guys behind American Gods are going to be making a... the company behind American Gods is going to make an Astro City TV show. Do you guys know what Astro City is?
Not at all.
Space
No.
Dicks.
No, it's a superhero comic book series.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's really good. It's like highly acclaimed. Kurt Busiek is the writer. Yeah, it should be interesting. Hopefully they go... It's like an anthology series though, so hopefully they go that route. Like maybe like a Black Mirror
Yeah.
sort of
Or
each story
horror
is a
story.
different
One.
set of superheroes or whatever.
I've never read an issue, but they did a reboot series a couple years ago or something, I
Yeah.
believe. Like in the comics, like a
think so.
issue
They
one
came
type
back to DC, I think.
scenario. Yeah.
He's been bouncing around
Um,
all over different publishers for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember buying the first issue, but I never actually got
Yeah.
around to reading it. So, but oh well, it's cool. I don't know enough about
Yeah.
it to have a strong opinion. It's seemed interesting enough for me to
Yeah.
want to.
It's a
read
beloved
the first
series,
issue,
so
then didn't do it. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
another TV series they're going to be making, Street Fighter, by the guys who did the Street Fighter Assassin's
Nah.
Fist live action web series. Does anybody
Is that
care?
the one with J. Michael White in it?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Oh no, that was Mortal Kombat. Sorry.
Yeah. Anybody excited for a Street Fighter series based on Street Fighter 2?
We already have the perfect real-life action Street Fighter movie. We don't need anything else.
And what movie is that?
The Jean-Claude Van Damme one?
You know what the most baffling thing about that movie was? Is that they made Guile the main character and not Ryu or Ken or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes. That's why. It was genius. It was a stroke of genius. And this is how I got myself written off What Do You Want to Watch?
Yep. Apparently, the Spice Girls are shopping around an animated superhero film based on their likeness. Does that
Who?
sound like a terrible idea?
The Spice Girls.
The Spice Girls.
Like, spice up your life. Blah, 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 blah. Shake it to the right. Blah, blah.
The only
No,
person
I
who
will
would
watch
be
it.
interested in that is my wife.
Me.
Why are you...
I'm
what?
interested.
Why are you
I was a
interested?
huge Spice Girl fan as a kid.
Yeah,
I
I
love the
was
movie.
a Spice Girls fan.
Spice
Yeah?
World? Spice it up?
So yes, I would be intrigued to
So-
check this out.
So what's going to happen is they're going to get it all done and dealed, and then Victoria is going to pull out, and then it's all going to fall apart.
Yeah,
As every other thing they've tried to do in the
Do you
past
remember that-
fucking 15
there was that-
years.
There was that animated show with 3 girl characters who were like in a band and superhero spies at the same time. I can't remember what it was called. but
Totally
that is
Spies?
Yeah,
what was it?
Totally Spies, was it?
I don't
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. And then like think of that, and then there's like Josie and the Pussycats, of course. So it's
Bratz
not like
did a
this
TV
type of
show
show. Like they weren't spies or anything, but a show about female characters being in a band doing like ridiculous stuff that's animated isn't exactly a fresh idea, obviously.
Sonic Underground.
So just because it's the Spice Girls doesn't mean it has to be bad per se. So I'm open to it being good. Sure.
Okay. Gina Rodriguez from Annihilation is going to be starring as Carmen Sandiego in a Netflix live-action movie, which is announced on the back of her voicing the character in the reboot of the animated series.
Animated.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I mean,
Do you think a red suit like that would work in real life?
I know it's got absolutely no bearing on anything or how good she'll be as it, but I immediately went to what my idea of Carmen Sandiego is as a kid playing those computer games. Like, she's a totally different body type to what that character is, to what she is, but obviously that has nothing to do with it, but that's where my mind went immediately.
My only problem is I always thought she was taller. Like the the character seems
like
taller.
real tall, slender, and
yeah, but the more important thing is like the mannerisms and the way she talks and stuff like that. So she can get that down. She's an actress, and I think that's the more important part. So yeah, I'm down. It's an interesting property to be a thing, but Netflix brings back weird things and stuff. So
yeah.
I'm down.
Cool. And the last thing I want to talk about is The Fault in Our Stars. Did you guys see that movie?
Nope.
I didn't watch it because I read the book and it broke my heart and I cried a lot, so I refused to watch the movie.
No.
No? Well, you can enjoy it when they make a Bollywood remake.
A Bollywood
Jesus Christ.
remake?
Yep.
I'll watch that.
It was announced.
Getting cancer's great. Oh no.
So apparently
Is that how it goes?
There was not enough head movements.
the people most angry about this remake are the Indian people.
Okay, that seems like the complete opposite to what I
Is
thought.
Brett Lee going to be in it?
Unlikely.
Why are they angry?
They reckon they're going to ruin it. Ruin the film.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
That's their thing?
Quote, I understand your
God.
excitement, but as an Indian person who knows what Bollywood is about, I'm afraid I can't share it. I just really hope they don't ruin the story completely. At least the music will be good. That's a tweet from...
So have you watched the movie?
Yeah.
Ash?
It's enjoyable.
Did you cry?
I got emotional.
I can't watch it. I can't bring myself to.
Not yet.
Fuck it, it's hard.
A future, what do you want to watch?
I can't. I will actually probably turn it down. I'll just be like, so I'm sitting this one out. I can't.
Nothing but
I was
tearjerkers
in
from
bed
now
reading
on.
that book. I'm in bed reading that book, like just picture like some terrible breakup happening, and I'm just like, turn page, wet. Jesus. Oh dear. John Green though, what a good guy.
Yeah. He's pretty good. So
Nerdfighter represent. DFTBA.
So after last episode, there was something that I wanted to ask you guys as sort of like a talking discussion. Dylan, last episode we were talking about game night, and you said Jason Bateman plays the same role all the time. My question is that a bad thing, or is that just good casting? Because I've also heard this complaint about George Clooney in one of my favorite films, Up in the Air, where he says he's just playing himself. Do you think actors should spread out more, or is it wrong that they
first things
play their
first?
part
Up in the
perfectly?
Air, 10 out of 10 movie.
Yes.
I ended the friendship because someone said it was the worst movie ever they had
Good
ever
choice.
watched. It was good. It was a great
decision
choice, 'cause
making.
that is a test of character.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit human being. Anna Kendrick's also great in that movie.
Yes, she is.
People who I didn't mean it as a bad thing, but it's a fact, and it can be a bad thing, and it can be a good thing. It's like Will Ferrell plays basically the same character in all his movies, but if you like Will Ferrell, he's funny. Vince Vaughn basically plays the same character. If you like Vince Vaughn, he's funny, etc., etc. My point last week was that most comedians in movies play the same character because they just hit a stroke. And the weirdest thing about it is a lot of them come from Saturday Night Live backgrounds or positions like that, where they play so many different roles and characters, and then they do that for a few movies, and then they hit a stride just playing the same type of thing, just doing different jokes. Of course, if you know me, I'm a huge fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, and I'm a fan of The Rock, Vin Diesel, and all those types. They all play the same or basically the same character in everything, but they all do it well, so it's enjoyable. So, is it bad? No.
Excuse
Can
me,
it be?
sir.
Yes.
Xander Cage and Dominic Toretto, way different characters. Completely different.
No.
Completely. Dominic cares about his family, Xander doesn't, you know?
Yep.
A lot of people bring that argument to bear on Tom Cruise as well, but I don't think it's... I don't think it's entirely accurate.
It's not, because Tom Cruise was in Born on the 4th of July or whatever.
Yeah.
Best acting role he did.
For me, it's two different things where playing yourself or playing that same type of role. For some actors, they do it really well, like Jason Bateman really does play the same type of role, but he does it well enough that he can continue getting jobs out of it. There's actors like Michael Cera plays the same character in every movie he did in a very short piece of time. And where is Michael Cera now? Like, what is the last project he properly did other than the Lego Batman movie?
Arrested
He's
Development.
so good as Robin.
What? What was that?
I said he's back on Arrested Development.
Yep.
They're doing another season of Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Is what he just said.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. But he's exactly once again same type of character. I hate you so much.
That's his first version of that character. To be fair.
It is, but like it depends on. I'd like to know as long as the actors themselves are happy with playing that role for that many different positions, then sure. But there's got to be some people who look at scripts and go, God, they want to play me to play the awkward teenager again. Fuck this shit, and like throw.
You know what they call it? They call it typecasting.
Yeah.
But it also gets you paychecks.
It does.
It's like Liam Neeson recently. Did you see the most recent one where he plays the takeoff of
No, I
Taken?
stopped watching him.
Is it the one on the train?
The one on the train. The
The one
commuter.
on the train. I'm just like,
What a terrible idea.
You know,
They just
there was
need
an
to stop-
interview with him recently where he said he was going to stop, wasn't there? Like, he's like, I'm going to stop doing these fucking movies.
I would stop after you try and do a Taken movie on a train.
Taken. I wonder where they're gonna go.
Well, for a different example, like, think about, like, Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
Okay? You're an actor who's going to get typecast because you can only play one role, really.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, like, no offense to him, but you're not a A-grade skilled
You don't have a
actor.
lot of range.
You don't have a lot of range. You're an actor who can do one thing and one thing only, and you get cast to do that. Is that a bad thing? No. That he's good at what he does, and he does it fine. I think really for some actors you can only do yourself a detriment. Like if you've actually got the skill to put out, to try and break out, and you don't even try it, then I feel like you're only doing yourself the bad thing. Like Vince Vaughn has been trying to break out, be that True Detective season 2 or Brolin Cell Block 99 or whatever the hell it's called. That's Vince Vaughn getting these scripts for roles and saying, you know what, everyone will think it's a joke, everyone will make fun of me, and they do. Like, people go online, and before these movies and TV shows came out, everyone just starts shitting on him. Vince Vaughn, you're only a comedian, blah, 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 blah. Even though I hated True Detective season 2, I gave him props for at least getting out there and trying to do that. Because, you know, he goes into that knowing he's going to get shit on. Because he did Psycho. And that was his first attempt at it. And he got rightfully shit on for Psycho. And he could have got back into his shell and been like, nope, I'm only playing my fucking one character Vince Vaughn comedies from now on out. But he got back out there and had another go. So, another two goes.
I think with Liam Neeson in particular, he just does all these movies because it's minimal effort for a good paycheck. Because it's not like he doesn't do good dramatic, like Silence in 2016 where he plays that priest and stuff.
Anymore, though?
Hey?
Yeah.
Does he really need the paychecks?
I don't know how much
anymore,
money
though?
these fucking actors spend. On the opposite end, I appreciate. So you get what's the real Franco called?
James?
James or Dave?
James.
James.
Franco.
So you got James Franco, who, if you look at the way his movies worked, it's kind of like Easy Money one with Seth Rogen, Easy Money one with Seth Rogen, serious one for me. Easy Money one, serious one. Easy Money one, serious one. And that's all he does. And there's a bunch of other actors that around his age coming up that have kind of been doing similar pacing, I feel like people who enjoy acting, and you can tell because it's like money, I want to try and act. Money, I want to try and act.
Also, it might be a smart business thing too, earning that money for him to reinvest in doing things that they want to do as well.
Yeah, to his own produced products and he directs stuff and all that kind of crap. Yeah. But there's a lot of actors who get typecast, and it only needs a good director to make them
Something else.
to put them in the role and to really bring them out of it. And Tarantino does that all the time with A lot of his usual suspects.
John Jarrett.
No,
Mike Myers.
Look at Michael Madsen. Look at Michael Madsen. If anyone else put him in any movie, he is getting typecast as the exact same, like, slow talking badass, or just like whatever, like I'm the bad dude and whatever, like stuff like that. And then Tarantino puts him in his movies, and he puts him in like what the fuck was I listening to the soundtrack?
Reservoir Dogs.
So he puts him in like Hateful Eight, and he doesn't have that role again. He plays a different role, takes it something else. So you've got a director like Quentin Tarantino who sees something in Michael Madsen that Michael Madsen doesn't even see in himself. And he keeps putting him in movies because he can see that. So a lot of time I do feel like these actors can get typecast, and you just need a good director to bring them out of them. I think Nicolas Cage could get typecast all the time. Nicolas Cage goes and does roles with good directors, and he gets brought out of it, and he does these really interesting things.
Not lately.
I think Nicolas Cage could have had a really shit career unless he met the Coen brothers, and then he did Raising Arizona, and that kind of changed his life, I feel like. So,
yeah.
I just wish Sean Bean would stop dying in things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get typecast as a dead body. I mean,
You just get
what are you going to do?
This is the character that's going to die.
Awesome. Well, that was an interesting discussion. We got to move on. Nick, what did we end up watching this week?
We ended up watching Speed Racer.
You walk away from me, you walk away from this deal, no matter how well you drive, you won't win, you won't place. I guarantee you right now, you won't even finish the race.
You think you can drive a car and change the world? It doesn't work like that.
Maybe not. But it's the only thing I know how to do, and I gotta do something.
Wasn't my idea.
Oh, no?
It was his.
2008 film by the Wachowski sisters, yeah?
Just the Wachowskis, I think, is safe. I think this is the safe term. So this is the Emile Hirsch starring led film adapting the animated series, the Japanese anime. It's good. John Goodman, Susan Sarandon, Christina Ricci. What more could you want? Nick, you hadn't seen this movie before. What'd you think?
I hadn't, and I'll debut my Nick's Mini review here.
Here we go.
I haven't taken acid, but I imagine this film is close to the experience. It's filled with hammy acting, hard to follow visuals, and made me reevaluate my life choices. But somehow I got invested in the plot with its anti-corporate theming. 4 out of 10. Hashtag Nick's Mini review.
Of course you would.
Oh, I mean, it was worth it just for that. So you didn't love it, didn't fall in love with it?
Look, by the end, I was invested in where the story was going, but I hated a lot of this movie.
I'll admit, it hasn't aged.
That younger brother and monkey, fucking cut that whole thing out of the movie.
My favourite part.
They
Really?
were fucking obnoxious and annoying.
It was so good.
I think Susan Sarandon was the only genuinely good performance in this fucking film.
John
No,
Goodman
you're
was
wrong.
good.
No? Who?
You're wrong. Matthew Fox doing his best Batman
Oh, my
impression was so
Yeah,
good.
I actually thought that through the film. It was like he tried to be Batman.
It's like the first time you see him, he has a mask on. He's like, "Hey kid, I'm gonna kick." Like I'm like, "Oh my god, you're just trying to get that Batman role." Like it's so hard. I love it.
All right, so Dylan, what do you think of the film then?
I remember watching this when it came out and not liking it at all, and I thought it was utter garbage. And I probably would have given it like a 3 or a 4. Upon this rewatch, kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It's not great. Obviously, I don't know. It's
got issues.
It's definitely not good, and it's got a lot of issues. Its biggest issue being the stupid kid and the monkey. Its second biggest issue being its ridiculously long runtime. Like if this was a sharp 90-minute movie, I think it would be a lot more enjoyable if it just cut a lot of the plot threads, a lot of the unnecessary scenes, and just cut like half an hour to 40 minutes. I could find it being a lot more enjoyable. I enjoy the visuals
yeah.
because what I hadn't watched between the first time I watched this and the time I watch it now, I'd never seen the original anime. A couple of years ago, and by a couple I mean like 4 or 5 years ago, I did actually watch some of the anime, and this movie is just the anime brought to life. But I didn't know that the first time watching it. I don't think that's a pass when you have to say, oh, you have to watch the original thing to get it. But everything about this is just they've brought that show to life. And everything from its wacky nonsense, the way it's shot, the way the characters go back and across the screen, the over-the-top everything, but the visuals is just straight from the anime. And you either commit to it and you dive into the psychedelic nonsense world with the cars and everything like that, or you don't. And I kind of accepted it, and I was enjoying it.
The biggest thing that fucking blew me away originally was that I had no idea that the character's actual name was Speed Racer.
It's a kid show.
That made me roll my eyes so hard they almost fell out of my head.
I mean, Speed's a pretty solid name. Ciaran, you've been a massive detractor all week. You've rewatched the film. Have your thoughts changed?
I've watched the
film. Or they've been resolidified?
I watched it. I pressed play on the movie. And I've seen it before on like Foxtel at some point. I was outraged when I saw this movie was 2 hours and 15 minutes long. I was goddamn outraged. I was like, are you kidding? Like, if this was an hour and a half, I'd be in. I'd be all in. At the moment, there's that extra 45 minutes. And there's just, for a movie, it's just in places, there's a lot of stuff you're like, if this was cut out, it'd be an awesome movie. This was all just chopped out. Like, the whole mobsters side plot, like, if those mobsters weren't in it, if there was less villains, there were a lot of quote-unquote villainous characters that I had no idea who they were. Like, I didn't know who the main bad guy's partner, like the guy he was, like, in partnership with, I didn't know who he was. And there was some cool twists, and there is, honestly... There is a pretty, I don't know if good's the right word, pretty serviceable, traditional kids movie in there somewhere. There's just a lot of stuff around it where I'm like, why is this? And I forgot how much CGI was in this movie. Yeah. All of the time I was kind of like, all right, let's work out which part of this movie is real and which part of this is done on the green screen, because...
It's pretty much all of it.
It's 90% CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 90%. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Some is a style choice, though.
Yeah. Some of it hasn't aged gracefully. A lot of the cityscapes and that sort of stuff doesn't look great.
Or even like there was one scene where they walked into the Royalists guy's office, Royalton's office, and... Like, when the door opened, clearly behind them was green screen, and that looked yuck. And it hasn't aged gracefully, but I overall, it was a better experience than I was expecting. It was better than I was expecting.
All the actual racist stuff I thought looked good, because it's, like, everything that's happening is committed to being cartoony, so nothing, like, stands out as being, like, between what's real and what's not, whereas when you're going into, like... The moment he gets picked up by his brother in that flashback or whatever, and they're driving through the street and all the houses are CGI and the road CGI, and they're basically sitting in a cardboard box, that looked ridiculous. But when you're in the fast moving actual race scenes and the tracks are ridiculous and stuff like that, that's when it actually worked.
It reminds me of Hot Wheels in many ways, just because of the whole different Hot Wheels, or like, you know, it was the anime version of Wacky Races. And I love Wacky Races growing up. But I'm glad that the movie's story also avoided such traditional plot points as, okay, Speed's also already got Trixie as his girlfriend. I was waiting for that subplot to come out where they break up for some reason, or they split apart, or for whatever crappy reason they get split apart for 10, 20 minutes and then they get back together. No, that wasn't in it at all, which I was really happy about. And she was a strong and supportive character the entire way through, so... That was good. That was some good stuff. It still is 45 minutes too long, people.
I have a soft spot for this movie. I mean, I'm a sucker for a good sports underdog story. I think there is a lot of issues. Obviously, the biggest issue is it can't decide on what sort of tone it wants. Is it a kids movie? It's got like the hardcorest, most convoluted plot. Anti-corporation that's surely going over children's heads.
There's like, when they win like the Monte Cristo, whatever the hell
Yeah,
that
The
rally,
rally,
is called.
yeah.
When they win that, I'm like, oh, okay, look at the timer. It's like 50 minutes left for this movie. I'm like, right, what? This would be an end to a normal movie, not freaking 3/4 of the way
No.
through. So
But that last Grand Prix race, it's great.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
It pulls at my not nerdgasm, but it made me smile a lot. You know, that the final section after he gets the car started again, and
Yeah. That last lap.
Can't
I get
believe
emotional.
they used a spear hook.
Yeah.
even though they showed it a couple times.
So why was this movie picked? Did you just pick it because you're a fan of
Yeah,
it? Because it is 10 years this year also.
Yeah. Just a happy coincidence. I just saw it on the
Having
shelf.
coincidence? I was wondering.
I just saw it on the shelf. I'm
just
like,
saw it on your
I
shelf
wonder if
and
the
you were
guys
just
have
like-
ever seen this. It's kind of it's like one of those underrated sort of obscure.
I remember being really excited when it came out because it was like, oh, the Wachowskis are doing their first movie since
The Matrix.
The Matrix. Because the only thing they'd done between Matrix and this was they wrote V for Vendetta, but of course they didn't direct
Yeah.
it. So it was like, wow, the first movie since The Matrix, this is going to be so exciting. And then I hated it. But I think the reason I hated it at the time was because my expectations were set a lot higher because it was The Matrix, The Matrix, The Matrix, The Matrix. And then I got what we
You got what you got.
And everything
watched.
they've done since.
Yeah, I got what we watched. So I think with the time and the distance now, without the really high expectations, I could enjoy it a lot more. I think if I was to score it, I'd probably give it like a 5.5, or maybe the highest would be like a fucking 6 or something like that. But I did enjoy a lot of the aspects to it.
How did you feel about the constant montaging throughout the film?
I liked it. I
Yeah.
think that's like true to the style of it.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any problems with it. I think I don't know. That's what I mean. Like if you don't know, that's kind of what it's going for.
Yeah, because there's like a
you've watched the
huge
anime-
character dump at like the start of the film in that first race.
Yep.
That they. It seems like they do
I
that
think
a
if I was
lot
to
through the film.
If I was going to change it, you make it. He gets into a tournament.
Yeah.
You have introduced one villain. You have the masked man be in the tournament also, and you have that be a big mystery the whole time. You get one race in. You introduce the fact that the masked man's there because he's trying to win the race or he's there because they're trying to discover information about the bad guy. And then you do another several races where those two eventually end up teaming up for whatever reason to help bring down the bad guy that's part of the tournament. But you just have the movie be one long tournament where the mystery in the device is A, who's the masked man, and B, what does this bad person want? And along the way, you just do some character bits and pieces, and you focus on what this movie done so well, which was the visual enjoyment and the ridiculousness of the actual races. You take out the brother, you take out the chimp, you take out the mobster dude, you take out a lot of the crap, and I think you would have a lot better
You have
film.
to leave the brother and the chimp in.
No.
I mean,
They're such-
why
I
do
like
they
how
even
you're
have a
like,
monkey?
oh,
It makes
I
no
like how
sense.
Kieran's like, take out like 40 minutes of the crap. What is the crap to you? Because the
Yeah.
rest of us are saying take out the
No, it's not
the kid and the
quote unquote
chimp.
crap. It's just the convolutedness. But when I
What are you going to take out then?
like the mobster stuff,
For me, for me personally, they could take out that whole Monte Cristo rally, that whole the Japanese teaming up with the Japanese
Yes.
No,
team
you
to
need
then
that.
get fucked over. They could have had him go straight into the Grand Prix trying to prove that.
But
he's
how is he going to
declined
get into the
royalty.
Grand Prix if he didn't go to Monte Cristo?
Well,
and
just
get-
say
He needed
that
to
he
get screwed
got
over.
into the Grand
He
Prix.
needed to get screwed over.
He did
No,
get
but
screwed
like-
over.
but like put in a couple more races where he's winning, and then he has like a race where it's like, right, I just need to win this race and I'm in the Grand Prix. That fucks up. He then has a heart-to-heart the moment with the, either the man in the mask or somebody else, and they give him their spot into the race, and he goes forward. I didn't like how... I would have liked the Cannonball character, or the character that was going to be his final racing nemesis, to be a ongoing character in races throughout, instead
fair.
of this character that kind of turned up at one point in the tower, and then... he's racing, and these are like the all-timers.
He was racing against he's not racing against Cannonball or whatever. He's racing against the guy they keep cutting
Yeah.
to screaming in the the CEO dude. Really, that's what
Railson.
he's
Yeah.
racing
Yes.
against there.
Yes.
With the dude in the car just representing
Him.
the corporation and
Yeah.
the downfall of the racing. It's all it's there. It makes sense, but it's not done well enough.
But the reason I defend the kid and the monkey so much is because when I think of the cartoon of Speed Racer, I think of the back of the car opening up and the monkey and the kid being sat in there. Like, I think of that scene.
Just because something's funny in the cartoon doesn't mean it has to make it into the movie.
Yes, it does.
I mean,
Well, I had never seen the cartoon, and you shouldn't, like Dylan was saying earlier, you shouldn't have to watch the source material to get for it to be a good movie or to get anything that's happening.
no, my problem is they constantly killed the tone. They obviously, you have this huge important spiel about the history of the racing and the match fixing, everything, and intercut with them running around like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
High
And
on
there's like the
lollies.
moment where the masked man and the CIA dude or whatever show up at the house, and you have to have them answer it and run behind the couch like, "Oh, don't answer."
And then they ruined the last moment of the movie with a dumb
Yeah.
PSA.
Yeah, no, they were definitely the very lowbrow child humor left in that I did not find funny
And if
at
I
all.
remember correctly, that monkey was a problem on set.
It was a problem
They
in the
were-
fucking
they were
film
gonna-
too.
Yeah,
they were going to do a sequel, but it didn't make enough money.
yeah.
I thought they had to because they left
wonder
ties
why.
open with like the whole like brother back mystery and stuff that never got revealed to the family and stuff.
No, I think that's fine. You can leave that like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you surprised the first time?
No,
Spoilers.
No?
not at all. It was
We transition.
so fucking.
Okay,
blatantly
spoilers
obvious.
for Speed Racer. 10-year-old movie.
It was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Even Speed was working it out. He was just thrown off because a different actor stepped in.
Yeah. That's fair enough. Any acting highlights? I think so. Susan Sarandon, John Goodman, obviously, really good in this. That scene where Susan Sarandon is talking to Speed in his room,
Yeah.
it's a very heartfelt. And I mean, you can't cut out the Monte Cristo part because then you wouldn't have John Goodman throwing a ninja around.
That was like,
Or them
when it-
stopping mid-race for fucking half an hour to fucking have a gunfight with the mobsters, and then
Yeah.
oh my god, this
I like that. I like that scene. It's the way it's like cut together and shot and everything is so reminiscent of anime and cartoons of that time period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah. So that was Speed Racer, guys. Thank you very much for listening.
Speed Racer.
Ciaran, where can people find you on the internet?
people can find me on the internet at your boy Ringo on Twitter, and find me and all of us on twitch.tv/Explosion Network.
Nick, where can people find you on Trakt.tv?
You can find me on Trakt.tv, Lord Empire, and you can find me on Twitter at Lord Empire.
What about you, Dylan?
VIVALADIL.
Both places.
All the places.
And you can find me both of those places at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. Maybe tweet at Trakt.tv. Let them know that we love them. And we really want them to... Dylan really wants them to sponsor the show.
Really, me and Nick just want to get sent a free shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we
What
want.
sizes, guys? Just so they know. We'll cut this out.
Small.
2XL.
2XL? Okay. Small price to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you're following Explosion Pod on Twitter, because we'll be letting you know what movie we're going to be watching next this coming Friday, the something of April.
Tweet at Explosion
6th.
Pod if you want Dylan to choose the movie. I
Yeah.
want Dylan to choose the movie.
Yeah, tweet at us who you want to pick the movie, I guess. That could be a thing.
Dylan.
You should also go to explosionnetwork.com, where we keep all our awesome stuff. All our other awesome shows: Pleasure Explosion, Platinum Explosion, Early Late Nights, Top 5, Tales of Theldon, the show that you're not on currently. I know it's shocking. Yeah, and maybe if you like the show, maybe go to iTunes, sign up for an Apple account, leave us a 5-star review, or a review of a different size, but preferably a higher one. They all help with analytics and getting the show out there. I know there's not many movie shows out there, but it would really help get us up that chart. I know
Not
there's
like
like
this
5
one.
or 6, right? Yeah, only a couple.
1,000.
That what?
What? Nothing.
Nothing.
Sorry.
Great.
My throat.
All right, until next time, just keep watching stuff, I guess.
Explosion, alright. Year 2 is here, everyone, and I have lots of news for you. We've announced 4 new shows and a renewal amongst a couple other things. Listen along. Tales of Theldon is our D&D cross-audio drama podcast. It's highly edited to allow non-D&D fans to experience an audio drama including music and sound effects that just so happens to be acted out and made up along the way, because it's D&D. Less dice and more drama. Kinda. Season 1 kicks off March 24th, but the prologue is available now, and short stories about each character will be posting between now and the launch. Follow at Tales of Theldon on Twitter for more. What Do You Want to Watch is our media podcast being released fortnightly. We'll be talking movies, TV, and more each fortnight, and check out a movie in What Do We Watch Anyway, our movie book club that you can watch along with. Follow at Explosion Pod to keep up to date with that. Top 5 with Nick kicks off Wednesday the 7th as a fortnightly podcast with Nicholas Pryor being joined by 2 guests to count down or up, Nick's rules really aren't solid, their personal top 5s for this season's theme, video games, ranging from top 5 game vehicles to top 5 launch games. Check it out. Every Tuesday and Friday night from 6:30pm Australian Eastern Daylight Time, you'll catch Ciaran on twitch.tv/Explosion Network hosting Early Late Nights, a gaming news half-hourly breakdown show. The episodes will then go up live on podcast services and YouTube just 24 hours after airing. So make sure you're following our Twitch channel. That's right, twitch.tv/Explosion Network to keep up to date. All Around Explosion is back for Season 2 on May the 11th, with 3 more episodes to count down to solo a Star Wars story, and then talk about the movie itself. So if you're doing a Star Wars rerun before then, don't forget the first season is already available and a good thing to listen to if you're doing a rewatch. And some updates and some changes. Tom is now going to be the full-time host of Pleasure Explosion as the podcast moves to a maximum cast of 4 members and moves focus away from being topic-based. All our YouTube shows like South the King's Landing, reacts and review discussions will now be live on Twitch. They'll go up on YouTube's afterwards, but we want you there watching live. We want to reward our Twitch audience that has supported us so well this past year, so get ready for a full spectrum of Twitch content and better bang for your time and money. It's a lot, I know. You can find all of this wrapped up in an article right now on explosionnetwork.com, breaking down all this and more. But most importantly, the news is Explosion Network Year 2 is here, and thank you for being a part of it.